lived in this community all my life, 69 years. I used to love going outside and breathing that fresh, clean air and playing out in the yard, having fun with your neighbors. We had everything that a person could want, and now we don't because of industry. When I would leave my house in the morning to go to work, when I walk out that door, I get a whiff of that smell, and you want to go back in the house because the smell is so strong. Sometimes it smells like chlorine, sometimes it smells like a rotten egg, sometimes it smells like some type of chemical, and sometimes it's an unknown smell.
When I was younger, I served overseas. I'm a veteran. And the first time I came back to New Jersey, my dad picked me up from the airport, and all I could ask him was, "Oh my God, what is that smell?" And his reply was, "What smell?" Because when you're in it all day and all your life, you really don't notice that it could be better. And I think that's what a lot of the residents have kind of, unfortunately, normalized the pollution in this area.
I thought it was just a flare initially when I saw it. And I saw it early in the morning, around 8:30. I was on my way out of town. It wasn't until I got halfway to my destination that I got a text message about a petrochemical disaster. Because the smoke had been just going up in the air for hours and hours and hours until it finally reached an area where there just happens to be very wealthy communities. And it wasn't until then that news broke and it hit the airwaves. So once this disaster happened, we became aware of all the violations that were being made by that specific company. But then came the question of who's holding them accountable? How many other facilities is this happening at? Why aren't we being notified of what's being held in these containers?
We have carbon monoxide, we have sulfur dioxide, we have CO2, we have lead, and sometimes the smell, oh my goodness, it's just so overpowering. In 2018, a massive release was so huge that it shut down the Delaware Memorial Bridge for 4 to 6 hours. When we look at these things with loopholes and malfunctions, to me, they're built in to let these folks get away with what they get away with.
When you have chemicals and gases going through the pipes, if it stops on the dime, then there's a possibility of the gases building up and exploding. So what they've done is they've created a process where those gases will be burned by a flare unit. And so when these incidents occur, it might be for a short time. If it's a major catastrophic failure, it could burn for days. Recent studies began to show that they do these flaring events so often, so frequently, that often those emissions were more than the annual emissions when it worked normal operations.
There's no accountability. There's no requirement that they involve the community or notify the community. They don't want us to test. They don't want us to test what's coming out of those stacks. We don't even know half the stuff. We have to, file a FOIA request in order to even get the information to try to find out what are you bringing into the plant to incinerate.
So every day we're exposed to these toxic chemicals. Every day we're being exposed to chemicals because the Title V permit allows them to release chemicals every day and then not even be held accountable for these startup and shutdown releases, which can happen at any point in time.
The loopholes don't make our community safe. They don't. They expose us to higher risks of being poisoned, of being killed. They endanger our communities. They endanger our environment. The only thing that those loopholes do is protect the industry. It's not about public health. It's about profitability. And that needs to change.
Why are you here polluting us? Why are you poisoning us? They shouldn't use us as a sacrifice zone so you can make billions of dollars. You don't care about us. How many more people have to die?
It is from nature that we grow our food, that the air that we breathe, the water that we drink is found in nature. And so therefore, if we are abusing that we are creating the means for our own destruction.